Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Dzogchen. Homage to the 16 Dharma King Karmapa. Homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa. The Yamantaka Heruka Vidyaraja. Yamantaka Hompe Tsli Kalalupa Hom Kan Soha. Simu Tanzan Katso. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples, and all disciples present here and over the internet, and our VIPs today. The wife of Secretary General Daniel Liao from Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dharma Sister Judy. Accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband Larry. And the law advisor to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Cho. From CTI TV Taiwan, producers for the Guinea Gensang Shinten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Shiachi. Dr. Dzogchen. Oh, it's bad. And Dr. Gao. And Dr. O. And the former director of the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund's wife, Miss Vivian Shit. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? In Cantonese.
下星期6月28日
Next Sunday on June 28th.
下星期日6月28日是长寿佛的
It's the Amitayus, the Longevity Buddha Homa Fire Offering Ceremony.
那么这一尊呢，希望大家都能够主起。
I hope that everyone can become the primary supplicants for this one.
有介绍大威德金刚吗？没有。
还是这个打开了。
所以今天的主曲就比较少。这个。
Did I introduce Yamantaka last week? Maybe that's why the primary supplicants were not many. So whether I introduce it or not, it makes a difference. So now, in today's world, if you don't sell, if you don't market it, then your business will be bad. Doesn't matter what products you have. If you don't market it, then you would go bankrupt. It's the same with our Buddha Dharma teachings. If you don't promote it hard enough, then you're dead. So Yamantaka is Grandmaster's protector. I highly revere him. Every time I chant, I would recite his name, our mantra, many times. It's from the same line of Amitabha Buddha, Manjushri, Yamantaka. One line. One system. Amitabha, Manjushri, and Yamantaka. So Yamantaka, interesting, I didn't introduce him, and there were very few primary supplicants today. When I took the prayers, it was just very thin, few. And Yamantaka is one of the 5 Heruka practices. Many people have seen that in the book of the Yamantaka's light, that the power of Yamantaka is tremendous, and yet the primary supplicants are so few and far in between. Maybe because I didn't promote it, so you think that maybe you thought that it wasn't so important. But Amitayus Buddha, the longevity Buddha, I would like to promote it. Well, it's up to you. If you want to become primary supplicant, do so. If not, whatever. Because for Grandmaster, whether I have a long life or a short life, it's all the same. If I have a rich life, even if it's a short life, that's good. So if you have a miserable or horrible life, why do you want to live such a long life? If you're a bad person, it doesn't matter how long you live, you're still bad. But if you have a rich and bright and radiant life, even if it's a short life, it's still incredible, so it's up to you. So actually, Amitayus Buddha is also an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. He's still very important. So long life is also important. Tibetans, when they greet each other, they would say Chashiteri, which means all is auspicious. Or they would say long life. So health and long life, those are the wishes that they say. So health and long life and auspicious. So although Amitayus Buddha is not important, he is important. It is important of all the unimportant. So the important one is unimportant and the unimportant one is important. So it's up to you whether you want to become primary supplicants or not. It's okay. Today we had Yamantaka. Have you ever read the book called Yamantaka's Light, or the Light of Yamantaka? Of the masters. Lianman, Liantong have seen the book, have read the book. No one down there has ever read it. If you have read this book, then you would be the primary supplicant. So Liantong, were you primary supplicant? No? How about Lianman? Yes. Lianman was the primary supplicant. How about here? Did you read the book or were you primary supplicants? You were primary supplicants. Yamantaka told me to come and became the primary supplicant. So after you read this book, The Light of Yamantaka, you would know how great his power is. That in the tantric three reliances, there's no need to compare. The most compassionate one is Guan Yin Bodhisattva, and with the wisest is Manjushri, and the greatest power is Vajrapani. And the Dharma power of Manjushri is the combination of all these three reliances, the three key reliances. That in Tibetan, Gelugpa, these days is in charge of all the secular and religious sector of Tibet. Gelugpa. Yes. So Yamantaka is the primary protector in Gelugpa. He has tremendous, majestic power. And he was highly revered in Tibetan Tantrayana. He represents power. And in Japanese Tantrayana, Yamantaka is also highly revered there. He's riding on an ox, and the mudra of Yamantaka is Yamantaka riding on an ox. He is highly revered. Have you been to the Jingyin Lezang Temple in Toronto? Please raise your hand. When we visited that temple, all the masters were very quiet except Master Lian Wang. He cried out, "Wow!" loudly. What did he see that he cried out so loudly? Lian Wang. Oh, and then I took a look. Because that, and Master Lian Wang never wear underwear. Because that Yamantaka also did not wear any pants. So when he saw that, he was shocked, and we were shocked too. And we opened our eyes and we saw that. So I heard there were many visitors to the Jingyin Lezang Temple. So the use of white mandala, white or red or yellow mandala to wrap him up, not to show to people. But after it's being wrapped, it would look even bigger. It was discovered by Lian Wang because he especially pays attention to this. It was really heroic and awe-inspiring, awesome. In Taiwan, I saw this chart that those at the bottom is like a jello.
蒟蒻知道吗？
Do you know
啊，你
what
不知道啊？
jello
你不
is?
知道，你有没有吃过？啊？果冻吃过？蒟蒻是果冻吗？
It's like a kind of
很像
jello,
果冻，
similar.
最低级的是果冻。
So at the bottom of the
那
chart,
么第二级的，
and then the next up
第二级的应该是香蕉吧
should be a banana.
？banana，我看过香蕉是 banana， 就是 Microsoft 了 ，Microsoft。
So
Microsoft 就叫微软，
micro
就是第二
and
第
soft.
二级。
That's the second.
第三级的，
And
那
next up
就是比较上一级的。上一级的它是写着是什么？
what they
黄瓜。
write, cucumber.
黄瓜吗？
Was
是
it
黄
cucumber?
瓜，知道吗？是黄瓜嘛？哎，他写的是黄瓜。
Cucumber.
黄瓜已经是及格了，黄瓜就算及格。
Then that
然后
you
黄瓜就等于是那个
you pass
是什么啊？
when yours is like cucumber.
Hitachi 就是日本
That's
话叫
like
日立。
Hitachi in Japanese, meaning in Chinese it is a play of word in Chinese could be mean it's up every day, but Yamantaka is beyond that.
它是孙悟空的如意棒。
He is like the steel rod of the Monkey King. So it's like an iron rod.
那是最高级。
So that's
我
the
在台湾看
highest
到的。
in the chart. The chart that I saw in Taiwan.
大卫德金刚的威力就是像那么威猛一样的，很大的威力。
So the majesty of Yamantaka was truly awe-inspiring.
二背二足，这是
So
独
with
种
one
大卫。
face, 2 arms,
他的
and
右
2
手啊，持着
legs, that's called the solitary hero. And the right hand is holding a kartika or a curved knife, and the left hand
竖立，就红色的
is
头发竖立，
holding a kapala,
做愤怒像，
and the body is blue-black.
双足一
The
前
fiery
我
hair
以前做愤怒
standing
像
up look
是下
very
唇咬
terrifying,
上唇
which is the lower lip is biting on the upper lip.
愤怒像，这是愤怒。
That's a terrifying look.
那双脚前弓后箭，踩
And
在莲
one
花上。
one leg, the front leg is a curve, and the
其
behind, the leg behind is
另
straight.
有的形象是九面34
And there are also Yamantaka with 6 arms, 6 legs, riding on a blue ox, and with 9 faces, or 34 arms, 16 legs,
大威德金刚13尊，
and also 32 arms, and there are also
大威德金刚
Yamantaka,
是
the
阿弥陀
13
佛的教
Yamantakas.
令轮，又称为
Yamantaka is the commander of
四五方
Amitabha,
佛化身为
also
大
called
金
Chichitoche.
刚，文殊师利菩萨的化身，又名
And he is an
护卫金刚
emanation
威
of
德
the
金
5
刚
Manjushris manifested from the 5 Dhyani Buddhas, also called the awe-inspiring Heruka.
就是亚麻达卡，
And the Sanskrit
又
name
叫
is
做降
Yamantaka,
为降阎魔尊，降阎魔尊。
also called the subduer of
那在
Yama.
古代的时候啊，阎罗王出来，
In the ancient time, the
很多
Yama
众
king
生都受
appeared,
到灾害。
and a lot
那
of sentient
文殊
beings
师利
had
菩
to
萨
suffer
慈悲众生，
from him.
就
And Manjushri Bodhisattva, in his compassion,
化现成为
manifested as the body of Yama king, which is as Yamantaka,
那么降服了以后，众生才能够很平静。
or Vajrabhairava. And
所以他的
then
法
to
力
subdue
胜
the
过阎
Yama
罗王。
king, so that sentient beings can have peace of mind. Those was the mantra. The mantra includes the Yama king. There's reference to the Yama king in this mantra. So Yamantaka is the protector of Tsongkhapa of Gelugpa, also the root protector of Grandmaster. So this deity is truly great. If you can gain the yogic response with deity, you would generate tremendous power. Let me talk a little bit about the great perfection Dharma of Tantrayana. So in principle, the Dharma about purity impurity is the heart of the unobstructed Dharma realms. How can one comprehend experiences? One has to rely on the wisdom of observation. The wisdom of observation is knowing that everything is one's own mind and self-nature. One's attainment of the wisdom body will not come from other people. Instead, it comes from one's own realization. So last night, there was a Dharma sister that said, "Why don't you lead us to enter into Samadhi?" So of course, during the Dharma ceremony, like the 16 Dharma King Karmapa Black Hat ceremony, the black crown ceremony, everybody would be reciting the 16 Karmapas mantra. And then Karmapa's hand would extend into the box of the black crown and slowly took the black crown and placed it on his head and then hold it with his hand. And the 16 Karmapa would be chanting the mantra, and the left hand would be turning the mala chanting beads. And in his mantra recitation, he would enter into Samadhi. And the length of the Samadhi is from about 30 to 60 minutes. And all the people would follow him, chanting the mantra, and in contemplation, and finally entered into Samadhi. So that's the black crown ceremony held by the 16 Karmapa. That's how the black crown ceremony was. So they also had the beginning part of the practice, and then most importantly is the entering into Samadhi. And then afterward is the end part, the ending part of the practice, dedication. And then everyone would pass by in front of him offering hatha and an offering, and then he would bestow the 5-color thread that represents his blessings. So that's the black crown ceremony of Karmapa. So in leading everyone to enter into Samadhi, actually, when you perform visualization, after your visualization, Grandmaster is tapping on the desk. That's to enter, to lead you enter into Samadhi. There was one time that I brought everyone to go to hell to see, which is looking at the spirit world. That's also one of the Samadhis. So samadhi, going to hell to observe, is also a kind of samadhi. There were many people participating that day. Anyone saw anything? Please raise your hands. Master Lian Man, what did you see? And what did Judy see? I couldn't hear you. She saw quite a bit. Anyone else? Only the ladies saw something, but the ordained people didn't see anything. But most people who registered for that practice were people that were ordained, monks and nuns. It's not easy for them to see, but it's easy for lay practitioners to see. So this is observing the spirit world. It's a kind of samadhi. So if you can see, then that means you can enter into samadhi. So the shift heads are not easy to stabilize. So their shift heads are only superficial. So they are not really shaven heads. There is no difference between the Sangha members and the lay practitioners. Even the lay practitioners can enter into samadhi easily. It is a rare opportunity for you to enter into samadhi. The lay practitioners practice every day, but for the Sangha members, they practice all the time. They should be easy to enter into samadhi, but actually you still have hair, you still have lots of afflictions, although you shave your hair. Because by shaving your hair, it means that you shave off all the afflictions. But actually you're still afflicted, so you're like laity. But if you really shave off all your afflictions, then you would be a true monks and nuns. So this is what it means. So if you still have afflictions, then your shift heads are fake. If you shave your hair, that means you have shaven off all your afflictions and you are free of any afflictions, then that would be a true ordination. So entering into samadhi, you need to empty completely. There is a reference called the pure emptiness. So if you're totally purified, it's the same as you're totally emptied. So spiritual cultivation is not on the look and appearance, but they represent the precepts. Although ordination, a true ordination is precious, but if you're still afflicted, then it's not precious anymore. But if lay practitioners have more afflictions, but if in their spiritual cultivation they can lessen their afflictions, then they become like the true ordained people. So it's the same concept. So although you're lay practitioners, if you have no more afflictions, then it is the same as you're being ordained. So you need to do this to experiences. You need to rely on the wisdom of observation, knowing that everything is one's own mind and self-nature. that all Dharma was originally non-existent. So, in order to control your own mind, the Dharma exists. So, it is to deal with you. Once you gain this, you know that your own attainments comes from yourself and not from others. Nobody can lead you to enter into Samadhi. He can only guide you using convenient ways. Like I use the ruler to tap on the desk rhythmically, is to let you focus on the sound of the rhythm and then gradually let you enter into Samadhi. So that's the method. So to let you concentrate on the sound of the rhythm and to let you gradually enter into Samadhi. This kind of attainment does not come from other people, but comes from your own realization. All depends on yourself. So whether you become Buddha, Bodhisattva, Sravaka, Arhat, they all come from yourself, not from the Guru or anybody else. I cannot say that I cannot do my practice today, so I let someone do it for me. No, that's not the case. You have to do it yourself.
刚刚谈到这个价值观，出家跟在家的价值观，这个现在是一样。
So talking about our value on ordination or laity, it's the same wood coming from the same tree, cut into two. One is carved into a Buddha, and the other half was carved into a toilet seat and cover. And the toilet seat and cover was resentful and asked the Buddha, we came from the same wood. But for me, how come I need to face the butts and yet they worship you? The butts of people. And Buddha said, because it is easier to make a toilet cover, but it is really time-consuming to carve a statue of a Buddha. You need to spend a lot of time to carve it in order to become a Buddha. So it's the same with the ordained people and the laity. Anyone that can handle all the obstacles, the challenges, and all the hardships and perseverance, persistence, then you would have value. So that's why ordination has more value than the laity. So the ordained people have to be able to suffer hardships, to endure the loneliness, has to be able to shoulder the responsibility to salvage sentient beings, and your shoulders have to be able to bear the mission of the Tathagata. Only then ordination would have value. Otherwise, it has no value. It is only superficial. Sometimes people say that afflictions for laity are less than for the ordained people. That once you wear the monk's robe, then you have more afflictions. And that's the reason why.
小兵讲了一个笑话吧。
小兵 told a joke.
这个儿子要考高考啊，小兵
The
在那
son
边，他讲了一个笑话。
is taking the entrance exam for the high school,
因为考了几次没有考上，
and he didn't pass after several times. And for the fourth time, the dad encouraged him, "Son,
你好好考这一次高考，
please take your test the best you can.
最大的后台来照顾你。
I found a good backing to support you.
来照顾你，你好好认真的考这一次。
Please take it
他儿子
seriously."
回答说
And the son
谢谢
said,
爸爸，我这一次
"Thanks,
真的是
Dad.
很认真的要去考这个
I
高
will
考。
take it seriously
但
this
是
time.
我很奇怪，爸爸是请了哪一个后
But I'm
台
curious
老板来
what
关
kind
照
of
我？
backing
他
or
说
supporter
最大的后
to
台
take
老
care
板
of me,
一定
because
会让
Dad
你考
said
上。
it's the greatest
儿子
supporter.
就很好奇，就问了老爸说：“到底哪一个是我的
So,
最大的后台老板
Who is this
爸爸跟他
the
回答
greatest
是观世音菩萨。
supporter? And Dad answered, Guan Yin Bodhisattva.
观世音菩萨，其实观世音菩萨不能帮你考试，
But Guan Yin Bodhisattva cannot take the exam on your behalf.
这归依师尊了。
But
有可
after
能
taking
帮助你考
refuge in Buddha school or taking refuge in Grandmaster, it is possible that your tests would be helped.
我不是讲过吗？有一个要考医师执照的，
I've told you before, those taking the tests
他是这样子，
the doctors,
他根本他读了很多医书的书，越读越迷糊，
and the more
也不知道
he
要考什么
studied
实在没有把握。
the worse
他皈依的
he
生活中
feels about it, he doesn't feel
很认真地
comfortable.
念师尊心
So
咒
he took refuge in Grandmaster and was very diligent in chanting the mantra and also
所
in
以有一
studying.
天在考试的前几天呢，他梦
And
到
a
师
few
尊
days before the day of the test, he dreamt of Grandmaster, and he was sitting in a class,
就穿
and
一个医生
Grandmaster
的制服
appeared
白色的医生
wearing
制
a
服进来
doctor's uniform
也不
entering
也不
into the
跟他打
classroom
招呼，就在黑板上开始写，
and ignored him.
一直写。
And then Grandmaster wrote on the blackboard and filled it.
哇，全部都是医学常识，医
And
学
they're
的
all
道理，全部
medical
都是医学方面的道理
information.
但写了整个黑板，他就一面看啊，一面做笔记，一面记，一面
So
记，一面看，一面记，一面
he
记。
took a look and then took
终
a
于知
note.
道，等到他醒过来，
And then when he woke up,
这个还没有醒过来以前啊，师尊转过脸看他，
before he woke up in the dream, Grandmaster turned his head
所有
and saw him.
所有这个医学
And
的这个
Grandmaster wrote all the
这个知
medical
识全部写在上面。他
information
醒过来以后马上把医
on the
书打开，
blackboard.
师尊写的全部给他勾起来，都是重点。他马上就全部读那边。
And then he just focused on those topics, all the medical topics. And then later on, when he took the test, all the tests was about what Grandmaster wrote on the blackboard.
终于考上了。
So finally, he passed the test.
观世音菩萨不一定能够帮你。
Guan Yin Bodhisattva may not necessarily help you, but Grandmaster has appeared to help people passing
显
tests.
现出来，然
And
后
sure,
给你复习，
he showed
在黑板上给你
the
写这些
topics,
题
the
目
tests,
啊，写这个题目。
and
要
let
考什么
you
要考什么
review
赶快
them.
记住哇，要考什么？
All
他
these
醒过来，马
topics,
上就全
remember
部记
them.
住。去考的时候，
And
全
they
部
remembered
他
them.
变成第一名了，高考第一
And
名。
then
这个医
during
学
the
考
test,
试
they
也是第一
passed,
名
and not only that, they
法律考
ranked
试也是第
first.
一名。
Also for the
这
law,
个就是
the
真正的
bar.
后台，真正的后台老板。
So that's a true supporter.
这个一个笑话啊，韩国一名罹患 MAS 的女性病患，昨日逃出医院，
So
为避
in
免疫
Korea,
情扩散，通令
there
警
was
方
like
根
a
据她的照片
SARS
外貌
patient
去
ran
寻找。
away
3个小时以后，竟然
and
逮
afraid
捕
of
了
the
500多人。
infection. They sent the police to catch him,
知
but
道这个笑话
3
的
hours
意思
later there were 500 of them.
因为啊，韩国女性去整形，大家面孔都是一样的。
Because in
所有人
Korea,
的面孔全部
anyone
一样。
going for the plastic surgery,
所以
they
他
have
抓
the
这
same
个
face.
MAS 的这个逃犯，结果抓了500多个。同样
And
脸型
in
都是一
order
样。
to catch this patient with MARS, they caught 500 of them because they all have the same face.
这当中这个笑话里面有玄机哦。
So there's some profound meaning in this joke.
你们如果每一个人
If
都
everyone
能够
of
像那
you
个
would be
像一个人啊，
like
每一个人的
one
面孔都
person,
像一个人，也就是每一个人
if
的面孔都是
everyone
一样的话，
has the same face,
你们每一个人都能够入三昧地。
then all of you would be able to enter
就
into
是你们
samadhi.
把你自己调的身也不动了，
If you can
啊，
adjust
那口也
yourself
不动了，
so that
那么
your
意念
body
也
is
完全止了。
unmoved,
不是
your
同一个
mouth
面
is
孔吗？
unmoved, and your mind is
既然是
unmoved,
同
then
一
you
个
would
面
have
孔
the
的
same
话，就同
face.
样能够入三昧地。
If you have the same
你不调
face,
整到
then you
完
can
全一
enter
样
into
的话，就是
samadhi.
不能入三昧地。
So if you can transform yourself to become exactly the
一样的道
same,
理。
then you can enter into samadhi. It's the same principle.
我也讲了一个笑话，那天这个
Let me share a
小月
joke.
来的时候讲了一个笑话，他说
When
他
Xiao
开
Yue
旅
got
馆，
here,
开
I
hotel
told this joke.
他是属于这个旅游业的，就是
She's
很多
in
地方都有
the
他们的
travel
的
business,
那个房子，
and they
那
open
么人家
hotels
去
all over
vacation
the
就去
place,
住那里，然后要
and
申请，
people would stay there
然
for
后去到
vacations,
那里的时候，
and you need to
就
apply.
等于说也有佣人呐，也有
And
厨
when
师
you
有
get
什么
there, there
有
would
很
be
多的
maids and
服务
chefs,
啊，小叶是做这个
chefs
生意
and all kinds of
的
services.
成都小
She
叶啊，
is Xiao Yue from Chengdu, is in this kind of business.
通通有他们的 house，就是豪宅，
So there are many
然后都是出租的。
luxurious
你加入他的
homes
会员
that's
以
for
后啊，
rent
你就
all
要
over
到
the
哪一个
place.
国家那里的
If
房
you
子，
join the
那个
club,
就暂时是你的，
then
你可以享受
whichever
房子
country you want to go to, then that
那
house,
时候我就
that
讲了一
rental
个笑
house
话，
is like yours, and you can
某
enjoy
人
it.
去找那个领导
So I
办
told
事
this joke. Someone is
当然
finding
那
the
个是
leader
贿赂。这个人呢，就拿
to
出
take care of
5张美女
something.
的
So
照片给
that's
领
a
导，任
bribery.
选一张。
So he
你
showed
中意
5
哪一个？
photos of
领
beautiful
导看了
ladies
看没说
and
话，
asked the leader, which
那
one
个
would you
人
like?
急了，
And the
那你
leader
表
didn't
个
say
态呀，
anything. And that
你到底
person
中意哪一个？
started to get anxious
领
and,
导
come on,
他
tell
笑
me
了，
which one you like
他说你
best.
看见地上有
And the leader
5
said,
张
smiled and said,
100块的人民币，
did you see the
请问你
5
选哪一张？
100 renminbi
那个领
bills?
导就
Which
讲，
one would you choose?
这个意思就是讲说，他
So
5个
what
都
this
要。
means is that he wants
这
all
领
5
导
of them.
心非常的花，
So
啊
the
5个
leader
美女
is
他都
really
要
a。playboy. He
我就
wanted
借这个机
the
会
5
跟那个
ladies.
小叶啊，成都小叶讲，
So I
你的服
use this
务里面有
chance
没有美女服务？
to tell Xiao Yue from Chengdu, do you have
当然就没有，
service
因为
of
那
a
个是不
beautiful
可以，那
girls?
是违法，
Of course
对
not,
不对？
because that would be
那是
illegal.
违法。那我的意思是讲，人的心呐，就是全
And
部
what I
都
meant
要。
is that
人的心
it
就是
is
这个
human
样子。
nature to want everything.
那这样子的心呢，
So when you have such a mindset, it is impossible for you to be pure. So if you join the club of Xiaoyu's business, you can go all over the world to stay at the house with lots of services. At that time, you're on vacation. And primarily to relax.
Relax.
That's how my English is. As long as you can understand, that's fine. So you go there to calm, to relax and calm down. That's the importance. And in order to enter into samadhi is for you to become pure, quiet, and relaxed. But if you want something mundane that would distract your relaxation, that when you go in, you would be bright and radiant, and when you get out, you would be tired and fatigued. So that would be a distraction. So this is important here. A blind person was trying to lit a lantern and asked the blind person that I heard that after dark the people cannot see like I am. The Zen master asked him, "Oh, you lit the lantern for other people, that's nice." Well, actually I lit the light for myself, because after lighting the light, then other people would see me and they will not hit me when they walk. And the Zen master realized that actually when you do something for others, it's also for yourself. So in giving Dharma teaching today, I do so for others, but actually it's also for myself. So by lighting yourself, you can also shine upon others. So in the Great Perfection Dharma, I wrote, Guru Padmasambhava said, this is something that has to be transmitted by a true Guru. And now I'm transmitting it to you. And then I didn't write it. That's not lighting for others. But today I am telling you that you have to make sure that your body, your speech, and your mind is unmoved. And by telling you, I am lighting the light for yourself and also for myself. So if you follow this method, you can enter into samadhi and you would succeed. The old monk asked the young monk, if by stepping forward you die and stepping backward you also die, what would you do? Now I'd like to ask you. You stay put. That's right too. And the young monk replied, then I go sideways. Of course, that's fine too. And you can also stay put. So what is this? This is the key formula.
这就是口诀。
This is the
你要活
tip
就有
and
口，
trick. In order to
你
stay
要成
alive,
就也是有口。
you need these formulas.
不动
In
也
order
可
to
以
have attainments, you also need these formulas.
往旁边去也可以。
So you can stay put or you can go sideways.
小明做错了事情，老师叫小明叫家长来。
Xiaomin made a mistake and the teacher asked the
花了
parents to
300
come.
块钱到公
And Xiaomin
园，
was really
请一个
scared
下棋的老头
and
子
spent
当他的家长。
$300 to ask an
第二天，
elderly man who's playing
老师
chess
看到
to
小
be
明
his
带
parent.
来了这个家
And the
长，
next day, the
就问，
teacher saw this
这是你
parent.
父亲吗？
Is this your father?
小明回答：
And
是啊，
Xiaomin said
是
yes.
我爸爸。
My dad.
老师叫小明
And
站
the
到办
teacher
公室外面，
asked
然后
Xiaomin
轻
to
声的问那老头子
stay outside the
你在
office.
外面怎么有这么大的一个孩子？
And then
我妈妈
the
知道吗？
teacher asked that old man, Dad, how could you have such a son? Does mom know?
原来下棋那老头子是老
It
师
turned out
的
that
爸
old
爸。
man who was playing
他
chess
就
was
请
the
了老师
father
的
of the
爸
teacher.
爸给他老师爸爸的钱，
And the student
他
asked
当他的家长。
the father of the teacher to be his dad.
所以弄怎么样子巧，有时候也是不巧，
So sometimes you're trying
巧
to
跟不巧
be smart,
就在
but
口诀里面，就在口诀里
there's a
面，能够
coin.
巧
So that's
就
all
是恰到好
in
处，
this
你不
key
巧
formulas, in these
不是
tips
超
and
过
tricks. If you can be just right,
就是不急，不然
then
就是
it
不急。
works.
所以
If
我们
you're
节目
over
不
or
要太
under, then it just doesn't work.
太紧了，因为太紧了，它
So
会
in
断
our Buddhist study, you don't want
太
to
松
be
了会没有声音，
over too much or
就
too
就是要
tight,
巧，刚
then
到
it
好
would
处。
break. But if you're too
这个也是
loose
口
or
诀。
you're under,
就
then
是
it doesn't work. So this is
在
the key
所有的
formula here.
教法里面讲，
So
那个
in
叫
all
做
the teachings,
中观，
that's called the
那叫做
middle
中观。
way,
所以学佛也是要学
away
中
from
观。
any extremities. So
不能
in
太
our
紧，
Buddhist
也
studies,
不
you
能
need
太
to
松，
be
因为
in the
太
middle.
紧了，你精
Cannot
神
be too
会
tight or
错
too
乱掉
loose.
崩掉，
If you're too tight,
弦会
you
断。
would lose your mind.
太
You would
松了，你
break.
弹不出声音。
It's
像
like the
弹琴一样，
strings would break.
弹那
Like
个
when you're
琴啊，
playing a lute instrument,
你
if
那个
it's too
弦
loose,
太
there's
紧了，
no
嘣
beautiful
一下子
voice.
把弦弄断了。太松了，
So
弹
when
不
the
出声
string
音。
of the lute
就是要
instrument is
调
too
得刚刚
tight,
好。
it would
就是巧。
it could break. But if it's too
学
loose,
佛也是这样子
then。you will not produce good sound. It's the same in your Buddhist practices.
Oh. 现在跟大家再讲2个笑话吧。
Let me share 2 more jokes, and then this would end the teaching
这
today.
个医生正准备给男子动
The
手术，
doctor was about to
这个
perform
男子
operation
呢，
on a man,
在动手术之前呢，看了医生一眼，
and prior to the
突
surgery, the
然
man
这个
took a
男子
look,
非常惊恐的滚
at the
到
doctor
床边，
and
啊
all of a
床
sudden
底
he
下，
was
手术床
terrified
底下，
and
他说：“赶快给我换
went
医生。”
under the bed.
他的文凭
and
是
said,
我发出去的。
Please change doctor because I was the one that gave him a diploma.
这个被开刀的是谁？是大学的校长。
And the man
那
on
他
the
那个医生是他的
operation
学生。
table was the principal
这个
of the university,
这个医生
and the
啊，
doctor was his student.
开手术的这个医生啊，他
And
本
the
身是没有考
surgeon
过的，
did not
是
pass,
校长同情他，
but
给他文凭，
because the principal was pitiful of
大
him,
家要记得，
so
要
and
入三昧
give
地，
let
一定
him
要有
pass.
真正的文凭，啊，不能
But
拿
please
假的文
remember,
凭。
to enter into
假的文凭。
samadhi, you need to have a
所以都
real
怕，
diploma, not the fake diploma. Otherwise, everyone would be
第二个
scared.
笑话，在监狱
The
里
second
面有
joke,
两个犯人
in
正
the
在互相
prison,
诉苦。
there are two
犯人甲
prisoners
问
that are：“
你是怎
complaining,
么被抓进来的？”
how did you get caught?
犯人答：“ 因为
And
咳嗽。”
B said,
感冒。
because I coughed.
这个犯人
I caught
就非
cold.
常疑惑，
And
怎
A
么咳嗽感冒会被抓进
couldn't
来？
understand, how come you get caught from cold
因为啊，
and coughing?
犯人就解释：
And then B
我到人家
replied,
家里去偷东西，
because I
结果
was
咳嗽
stealing
把人家吵醒。
in someone's house, and then I cough and woke them up.
好了，我把你给你用。
Namani Beni Hum.